Everybody, and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Serpent series for race 1, where we're going to be battling it out in the Dodge Viper Group 4 on Gran Turismo 7. Joining me in the commentary box is Ray. How are you, Ray?
I'm very well. After how long's our break been?
It's been quite a while. I mean, we were going to do a video of the last race in the VW Silver Series, but because SGP wasn't there and Ray wasn't available, we ended up not doing it. But so we've had a good summer break, and then we're ready for this championship series. However, if anybody hasn't seen the announcement video that we released last week, I think it was, check it out, or 2 weeks ago. It's very, very important. Also, what is important is the grid for this race, as it's very, very shiny off the cars, as Steve F1 takes pole position ahead of Demon R. Should also mention quickly that weather is set on random, so there is the possibility of rain at any point, as Nelly is in 3rd place and SGP in 4th.
Yes, and we've got the mighty Swede on 5th place, Jason, and then Artpal in 6th, followed by Double Jimmy, 007 Jimmy, and then Gary 8th. Then Rich Blue's 9th with Conrad there in the nice blue. Is that American livery?
It is, yeah. Also, unfortunately for Conrad, he had some good pace, but unfortunately he got disconnected with the power cut as we are at 5 lights. And we're away! We get the season going. Demon R quickly moving across the road to cover off Nelly. Yeah, so Conrad getting disconnected during qualifying resulted in him starting from the back of the race as we head into turn 1. The left-hander here at DGT Gardens. Nelly trying to squeeze his way through.
Somebody off in the background there, don't know who it was, maybe Jimmy?
I think you're right, I think it was Jimmy as Nelly up the inside, or Demon R getting close to the back of Nelly, and Nelly's absolutely binned it.
Did he bin it or was he pushed? I think there was a wee bit of contact from Demon R there.
No, I don't know. I genuinely I don't know.
Artpal up to 3rd place now with Demon R. Is he going to go for a move into the hairpin, or is he going to try and get the exit?
Not quite. Now, sorry. As we're getting into this race, we are going to have to try and cover a couple of things. Obviously, how much tyre wear is going to be affected as Artpal's having a look at the inside of SGP. So yeah, how much tyre wear is going to affect the drivers, the track condition regarding any wetness, but also the fuel. Now, with the tyres, Ray, if you really, really, really look after them, you can get about 6 laps out of them. If you don't, it'll be anywhere between 3 and 6, but it won't be 6. So it's possible in the early stages here, we might have been seeing Artpal and Nelly just pushing the tyres a little bit more compared to SGP and Demon R.
Here comes the wife beater. He's going for an the inside of the last couple of corners. I would just say that, what, a double, you wouldn't say a double hairpin, what would you say?
No, it's a double U-bend.
A U-bend.
Kind of.
I
mean, it's 2 sort of 90-degree left-handers, isn't it? But it is actually one big corner, really. As SGP Demon R side by side once again.
Demon are going to give the place through the chicane here. Now you just want to watch these sausage cups as SGP likes riding them. These sausage cups can unsettle your car and you could end up facing the wrong way coming out of that chicane.
Absolutely. I mean, those sausage curbs are about as pleasurable as a glory hole in a piranha tank.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want a glory hole in a brand. But
You could be
well, I can't say.
glory. Oh, Rich has just stuffed Jimmy into the barrier. Rich has waited for him. Well done, Rich. You might need to teach Stephen R that move. But yeah, I've been waiting on that joke for about 6 weeks, by the way. That's how unprepared I've been.
I don't even think it was a joke. I thought you were just saying a phrase.
No, it's not a joke really. I suppose it is a comical phrase. So you are technically correct, but please forgive me. I am quite a few drinks into this commentary. Okay, so up at the front, SGP closing in again on Art Pal. Now the interesting thing here, folks, will be to keep an eye on the amount of tyre wear that each driver has got. You should be able to see it on the screen. It'll show the tyres that the drivers are on. The only slicks the drivers will have available to them is the racing hards, the RH, and then they've got intermediates and wets. However, the weather forecast for this race, Raymond, was showing no precipitation. So looks like we could be in for a dry one here this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Gary in the pits already. Yeah, dry race. If there's no clouds in the sky, well, there is some clouds in the sky, but they don't look threatening enough. As you see, Steve F1 staying away from the curbs, and Jimmy riding all over them. As we see, Conrad's up to fifth from 10th place, so he's made a good start. As Jimmy's attacking Jason, he's into the hairpin. Oh, Jimmy!
He was a little bit late on the brakes. I think he might have realised halfway through he was a little late and perhaps trying to speed up through there. Look at his tyre wear though. Yeah, Jimmy's tyre's suffering a bit more than the likes of SGP's are at the moment. I do think that maybe SGP and Demon R have decided from the start of trying to look after their tyres a little bit. The only thing is they're kind of in a bit of a battle now, which won't look after them at all. But in a 24, SGP got a little bit wobbly. In a 24 lap race rate, if the tyres have the capability of doing 6 laps, you could be looking at 6, 12, 18, so a 3-stop race potentially. But if you can't get to the 6th lap, I mean, as you know, these tyres, when that front right gets to all red, we've got a switcheroonie, double switcheroonie going on. Yeah, when that front right tyre gets to all red, it's painful for the drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, and these two are kind of slowing each other down. There's Conrad after getting a slight tap for Jimmy on the back of them, so these two try to switch positions is slowing them down, and it's a good thing for Art Pal and Steve F1 at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, interesting, if both of these are trying to look after their tyres, maybe that is what is catching them out. Like, they're both trying to look after the tyres and it's ended up with them being side by side. And as you say, Conrad right there, I don't know what tyre wear he's got at the moment. Is a little bit further back. It gets a bit busy with Nelly, who's recovering with Rich Blues. So is SGP going to go for the move? Demon R goes defensive. Conrad isn't going to risk it up the inside. I like that. Look after your tyres. Used a lot of curb though, but that's absolutely fine. So Demon R is ahead. But yeah, so can these guys get these tyres? I mean, here's the question for you. If they're looking after their tyres and losing this much time, is it working for them?
Well, it depends if they can only 2-stop, but then at the end their tyres are going to be more worn than a 3-stopper, so as SGP's is a bit wide. So it depends if they can hold off a 3-stopper, but depends what they're going to do. They're going to do a 2-stop, 3-stop, we'll find out.
Well, I don't think the 2-stops get it. I think it's more a same argument, but 3 and 4 rather than 2 and 3. Because if they can get to lap 6, it's a 3-stop. I don't think anyone's getting past lap 6. Demon R's actually going for the pit, so is Art Pal. Interesting. That is, yeah.
You say 6 laps, that's what, 2 laps?
It's 2 laps, 2. But interestingly though, I think both drivers had some wear left that I think they could have kept going as the SGP and Conrad now battling it out. So I'm wondering actually whether, Art Pal may have pushed a bit harder and may have been suffering a little bit more on his tyres. I'm wondering if Demon R has opted to get out of this battle to stop losing time, but it does mean having done, well, he's going to have to do an 8-lap stint or an extra pit stop.
I think he was going for the...
Connor! Oh, that's so. I mean, it's easily done, especially in that hairpin.
You get hot tooed.
Well, hey, be careful. I wonder what hot tour is in Swedish. Hot tour. And that sounded more Indian, that did. Okay, I've got so many thoughts go through my head that I probably can't say any of them. So, Jimmy's gone a bit wide. Jason trying to make the move. Jimmy's going round the outside. That's a lovely move from Jimmy. So Jason's got a fairly decent amount of wear left on that front right tyre.
Jimmy's slowing down. He's just been passed by Conrad as
penalty. Well. I bet it. Oh, he's just tagged Jimmy there, Jason. Though he may have had a penalty because the penalty zone's there, isn't it, under the bridge?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Connor! Oh,
go there.
I think he was trying to go for the pits while Jason was still there, and he's pit manoeuvred himself into the pits.
Hopefully he doesn't go on backwards, or else it will reset him and you'll have to do another lap.
That would be rather painful, but it is showing that Conrad is in the pits. Okay, so this is lap 6 then for Jason, who's got Demon R up his chuff, Demon R on fresh tyres. So actually Demon R may still be getting a little bit of boost now, and that would be one of the reasons why he pitted when he did. Will Jason's tyres last this lap? Yes, they should. Will they last another one? I doubt it very much. I wouldn't be trying it anyway. But what we have up ahead is Steve F1 SGP and Nelly, who have not stopped yet. So it'd be interesting to see. But they've only got to get to the end of this lap, really, Ray.
Why is the Garden sort of thing mean a porn channel? They're advertising a porn channel.
Oh, Demon R up the inside of Jason. Jason with a lot less grip on the inside. I have no idea what you're on about. Where was the advertisement for the porn channel? Was it YouPorn? Pornhub?
No, it's on the boards as they go around to see if you can see it.
Okay.
When we get, you mostly see it at the just going into the hairpin.
Okay. It's not a taxi service, is it? Okay, so Jason's tyres, Steve F1, race leader, in to the pits. Obviously, we didn't see what his tyres were like, but he's got to his target 6. Look at the fuel, though. He's used 0.2 more than SGP. Nelly's used nearly 9% more. That's a big difference for Nelly, so that'll make him have a longer pit stop. But also, from the looks of it, Artpal, when he pitted, I think he filled his tank up again, Ray. Which is why Artpal was ahead of Demon R when they pitted, but come out behind. So I don't think Demon R went full tank. He's
undercut Steve F1.
That he has. Now, has Steve F1 gone for putting fuel in? I've got a feeling he hasn't,
I think he short filled. I don't think he fully filled.
He may have just put enough in to cover him for the next 6 laps. Because I think, I think having used 6 laps worth of fuel, he would have only had about 5 laps left. So he would have had to have put a little bit of fuel in. We can see, though, that Artpal, having pitted at the end of lap 4, he's already got, 30% wear gone on that front right tyre. So he potentially is going to have to do an extra pit stop compared to the likes of Steve F1 and SGP. But also saying that for Artpal here, Ray, if he could actually do a lot of lifting, coasting and look after these tyres, maybe he can stretch them out that little bit longer. Similar for Demon R. Demon R has undercut Steve F1 by a massive amount. Maybe he could look after his tyres a little bit more in this next stint and go a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, he'd be hoping to, and that way he'd got back position. Artpal's just threw it away.
Alright. Jason into the... So Jason did go to the end of lap 7 on his tyres. There must have been a lot of tyre saving in that. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. So for Artpal now, Artpal's not in a bad position here. other than potentially being on an offset strategy, he definitely hasn't got the grip. But saying that, as I'm sure you know, for anyone that doesn't know, Ray isn't going to be able to join us in the races. Oh, look at Demon R's tyres. He's already used 50%. But not only that, Ray, look at his fuel.
Oh, he's only got a quarter of a tank.
Yeah, which means if he was wanting to save his tyres and go a bit longer, his fuel ain't going to let him do it. So maybe Demon R's pushing his tyres relevant to the fuel he's got in the car. But the amount of wear that Demon R's currently got compared to Steve F1, Steve F1's tyres are considerably better condition. He will be catching Demon R rather quickly, if not now, in the next couple of laps, because as I'm sure you know from the practice we've done, a fresh set of tyres against an older set of tyres, the offset's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to struggle in that old set to even keep the new set behind you.
Absolutely. To be honest, I think there'll be nothing anyone can do on old tyres compared to new tyres. So, I mean, we've got a fairly good example of it here. Jason on fresh tyres. Jimmy's aren't that old, but Jason will just have more grip in the corners. What he's got to be careful of is using up said grip too quickly.
Jimmy a bit late on the brakes, he's managed to keep it. He just went a little bit deep, but he's getting the run out. He's done the switchback. That'll be annoying Jason. Has Jimmy turned down his engine or something? He just looks like he's not getting the top speed quick enough.
It's possible, but also it's possible that he's not perhaps using the gearbox to its full potential. So extending the gears a little bit can really help. But also, like I said, with those older tyres, he got the initial good run out of the corner, but that may have just been because of his sausage, because of the line he was on. But then as Jason's tyres with a better grip, he's gone. Okay, yeah, so look at Jimmy's. So the level of tyre wear there is considerable. And although it is mainly on the fronts, the grip available from the rears is massive. Gary closing in.
There you go.
Oh, Gary. I didn't look. Oh, is it Blue Plus, is it? Oh, yeah, I see a sign up there, look. It's actually Chanel. It's not a porn site, you filthy-minded bugger.
No, it's actually a streaming site.
Or is it Channel, not Chanel?
No, it's a streaming site that gives you... let me check again.
Check again? So you've been on it before? Oh, Demon R.
3 in 1 unbeatable value. All films and series from Disney Plus, Paramount Plus and Sky Cinema in one subscription.
Fair enough. Okay, Demon R has gone on for one more lap. He's looking low on fuel and he's looking low on tyres. Art Pal's tyres are actually in pretty good condition in comparison to Demon R, but he's now got SGP up his chuff. For Art Pal, if he wanted to try continuing to do laps, you see, he knows he hasn't got the grip to turn in, and the turn one here, it kills tyres. So if you're aggressive in that corner, it will just hurt you over the whole race. But also, if you're cautious into that corner and someone's on fresh tyres, you could find yourself being passed rather quickly, as we see Nelly here having pitted not too long ago on the back of Jason, who I think was the last to pit at 7 after Jimmy.
Jimmy having Jimmy having a wobble in that sausage.
Yeah. Also, something that might be interesting for Nelly to just double check. You might want to check his assist settings because he may not be aware that he's got counter steering assistance kicking in. Now,
but he's driving with traction control.
Well, I mean, he's got the car accelerating for him and the car steering for him. Yeah. But then he might have put it on from when we dirty championshiped him into one of those everybody beat up. Oh, Jason's gone wide.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do this event now and again where one person has to try and do laps while everyone else smashes the crap out of them. It did kind of send Nelly a little bit seasick. Oh, Jimmy gone wide.
Oh, we tapped to there, yeah, and I think Nelly phoned up Elon Musk and was, how can I get this car to drive for me?
Yeah, good idea. Demon R into the pits, 0% fuel. I don't think he ran out, but I think he was right on the limit. So even if he wanted to do more laps, he couldn't. Artpal has pitted, but has got half a tank of fuel still. So Artpal may be able to do a little splash and dash, where Demon R is going to have to put fuel in. Question will be how much fuel. With these three passing the pits, they're going to jump some places. They'll lose a bit of boost. Steve F1 though leads the way by quite a few seconds from SGP, and then we've got this battle: Nelly, Jason, and Jimmy. It looks like Demon R and Artpal have both gone for filling their tanks, which may allow them to have shorter pit stops later, but it could also mean that Artpal, jumps Demon R in the pits. So there was a jump between them in the first round of stops, and they've swapped back this time. Problem for them though, Ray, is they're still in that situation where they could really do with extending a stint to either get back on a parallel strategy with the likes of Steve F1, or throw caution to the wind, do the fastest stint possible they can of maybe 2 or 3 laps, and then switch to another strategy. But I don't know if that will help them either.
Artpal using all the road, the apex at the entry into the corner apex and then the exit apex there. He's trying to save the tyres as much as he can.
Yep. We're looking at Demon R's lap times. His lap times were actually fairly consistently in the 41s on the previous stint, which is not looking after the tyres. I can tell you that now. I don't know if it looks like he's looking after the tyres.
Steve F1's in the 41s as well, so...
Well, okay, maybe it is a tyre saving pace. We're looking at...
SGP 41s.
Yeah, well, these two have got a pit at the end of this lap. SGP's front left nearly dead. Nelly's got a little bit more tyre life in them. And Jason pitted on lap 7, so... Oh, Jimmy's in trouble. Is that front right's gone? We're going to see him plummet in this lap. Demon R's caught up quite quickly to the back of Artpal, but then saying that with the boost, that is a possibility. I mean, an interesting point here, Ray, perhaps for the Artpal and Demon R, when they're in a situation like this where they've got boost, would you recommend that?
Demon R taking a lot of that curve.
May have been caught out by Artpal's pace through the entry in the corner. But yeah, would you push really, really hard now to get the maximum out of the boost?
If they've got to put again, then yeah. As we see Demon R going down the inside, has he got the move done? Yes, he has. Yeah, I probably would push.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what Demon R's doing in Artpal, isn't it? You see Artpal, the gaps there already.
I think you might be right. One is using the boost while hopefully saving the tyres, and the other is using the boost while using the tyres. Perhaps thinking of, okay, I've got to do an extra pit stop, so let's push it. SGP and Steve F1 both into the pits. They wouldn't get another lap out of the fuel. They probably wouldn't have got another lap out of the tyres either. Jimmy, as I said earlier, is going to struggle on those tyres with that front right gone. We can see that now. A bit of a sitting duck. So Demon R is headed into the pits again.
How many laps was that?
1, 2. Pitted on lap 10. He's got 1, 2, hot. If anyone wants to know why I was saying that, just look at Conrad's arse. Oh, hang on a minute. So Steve F1 has come out ahead of Artpal, which means if Demon R had carried on, Rich Blue's going a bit wide. If Demon R had carried on, it would have been a roundabout Steve F1. But it looks like he's gone for doing the pit stop there to get himself back in strategy with Steve F1 and SGP. So he's actually kind of put himself between Steve F1 and SGP, hasn't he? Has he? Or has he? No, it's further back, isn't he?
He's further back. Where is he? He's probably what?
I think he might.
Fifth.
Okay, so he's 5th. Yeah, so he is between Steve F1 and SGP. So technically, not worked out too badly. So it looks like then. Oh, Gary's gone a bit deep there with his snakeskin pants on, livery. I mean, so yeah, very interesting situation for. Well, it's interesting. I don't know, but unusual to pit and then pit again 2 laps later. Nelly, he's leading the race, but his tyres have just about gone.
Coming in the pits tonight.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that you were right, Ray. Demon R was using up the boost to try and give himself the opportunity of jumping back onto the strategy that would match with Steve F1 and SGP. But I think what he may have been caught out with is that coming out in 5th place, he hasn't got the boost, so he's not going to get perhaps some of the benefit that he would have hoped to have got. If cars around him had have not pitted at the same time, he would have had 1 lap of boost and perhaps closed the gap in a bit. But anyway, we'll see what happens from here on in as SGP.
I think he should have done an extra lap, and that way at the end he's going to have a lap extra of tyres and well, the fuel. You don't want an extra lap of fuel because it'll slow you.
It will. Okay, Gary's tyres are on the way out a little bit, and he's got Nelly closing in. We may see Gary struggle a little bit in the corners here. Yeah, he's going to struggle here, a bit wide, bit wobbly. Yeah, he's okay though. Nelly will close in. I think you're right. The other possibility of strategy would have been to go to the end of lap 14 and then do 5 laps and 5 laps. I think. Oh, Gary!
Gary!
That almost looked like you've got to have a gold car. Have this snake bite up your ass. But he hasn't waited.
Yeah. Like, did he even use the brakes?
Yeah, they're called Jimmy's. But I mean, I know Gary is on a pad at the moment. He's not been able to get his rig up and running recently with having the newborn and them having a lot of work done on the house at the moment. Things are a bit up in the air, which is understandable. So it's a bit unusual for Gary as Demon R closing in on the back of Rich. SGP there as well. Now, something that will be interesting for Demon R is, so far, he has not done a stint where he's made the tyres last 6 laps. Now he's in a situation where he has to make the tyres last 6 laps. Otherwise, doing that extra pit stop has been completely pointless.
Yeah, I think you should have went another lap and had that lap leeway on the tyres. As we see Jimmy and Jason having a good battle. These two have been close to each other all race, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
The two Jai guys.
The two Jai guys. I don't. My mind went to Forrest Gump. No, it was. Hello, Johnny. I love you, Johnny. Come in, hello. Oh dear. Okay, so Nelly under a bit of pressure from Jason. I don't know what Jason's strategy is. Pitted on lap 7. So I wonder if he was thinking, I don't know, 7, 14. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just thinking, keep going and see how many laps he gets out of them. I mean, he must have done. Yeah, he's done his second pit stop, hasn't he? Definitely. So I'm thinking.
Well, at least here Jason's higher up than he is when he races in real life with what cars do you call it? The Legends? I call them the Legends car. Because he finished his last race in 13th.
Did he? Oh,
yeah,
well, that's better than the one before where he crashed into a wall. I did feel for him. He just painted his car as well, and then the first race or the next race after painted his car, crashed into a wall. But I tell you what, Ray, it looks like it's getting a little bit misty.
Oh, yeah, it's getting a bit. Oh, you can see it there. I thought the quality went there, but no, you can see them mist down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, it's like a little bit foggy in the distance, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I'm trying to think what Jason, if he did 7, maybe 13 or 14. Okay, he could potentially pit. I mean, what are we looking at? Lap 18. for the next round of pit stops. Jason, if he can do a little bit longer, if he can get a 7th lap, maybe he could go with pitting a lap earlier.
Tires.
Yeah.
I don't know about the fuel. I've not worked out how much half a tank is, quarter a tank yet.
Half a tank is about 5 laps.
So he's got enough for another couple of laps.
Yeah. I mean, I would be tempted. I mean, Nelly's got a decent amount. Actually, Nelly might be catching up to the back of SGP here. Nelly's got a decent amount of tyre wear and got plenty of fuel in. I mean, this will be a crucial feature in the last round of pit stops as well. Because, I mean, it's one of those things, normally you would not want to carry excess fuel. So in a normal race situation, if you're starting off with a full tank and it only needs 60% to do 6 laps, you would only put 20% worth of fuel in so you could do the next 6 laps. You wouldn't normally fill up. Because we've got boost, it does allow you, doesn't it, to fill the tank and still get the benefit of the boost. As we see, Steve F1's got less than a quarter of a tank and about a quarter of a tyre on the front right. Yeah, so you can fill it up early.
Melly could jump people unless he's going to the end.
Well, Artpal's got half a tank, and I think he's going to be pitting at potentially the end of this lap or the next one. So Artpal could be on for a much shorter pit stop than Steve F1. Demon R's going to have a shorter pit stop than Steve F1, but longer than Artpal. And SGP's got plenty of fuel at the moment, so he may have a faster pit stop. I didn't see Nelly's fuel, but I think he was about half a tank.
Half a tank, yeah.
Yeah, so these different amounts of fuel the drivers needs to put in, it is going to make a difference. It is a shame that we don't have, like, on the timing tower on the left hand side, a current live gap between the drivers. That would be really good to have that. But we've got Demon R now all over the back of Artpal, so these guys are going to be pitting again soon. So 6 lap. Okay, end of lap 18 is when they'll really be wanting to pit. But looking at Artpal's front right tyre, he may have to pit now.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit now, or else he's going to have a rocker overlap.
Yeah.
Especially going into turn 1.
Ooh.
Turn 1. Oh, I think Demon R get caught out with how slow Artpal has to go round there.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, Artpal. Yeah,
he's quitting.
It's the right decision for Artpal. The only question then is it going to cost him at the last lap or 2 of the race? Steve F1, Demon R. Go on.
And with them missed, it's going to be cooler track. Do you think that's going to play on the tyre wear as well?
Absolutely.
The cars are going to be sliding a wee bit.
Well, it will have an effect. I just haven't confirmed whether it will be of benefit or of negative. So, for example, in most of the testing we did in the run-up to the start of the series, the tyres were only lasting about 4 or 5 laps around here. But I think that was in the sort of drying conditions from wet. We never really tested like full dry sunny weather, and that's what we've had today, and that might be why the tyres have lasted that little bit longer. So for Artpal pitting now, the tyres may not make it by a long shot, but I could be wrong. It could put them in the right temperature window for him where he'll get to the end comfortably. SGP's almost out of tyres. These guys are definitely going to be pitting here. Steve F1 is definitely he's definitely
fuel's
fuel.
Gone. Fuel.
I mean, the other thing as well is, you can definitely tell he's struggling a bit on that front right tyre. Can he get in without touching the line? Yes, he can. So, yes, it only needs 6 laps worth of fuel, but is 6 laps worth, or David, he's gone a bit wide. Yeah, so
is he going in? How much fuel has Demon R got? He's got more than Steve F1, so it's going to be a splash and dash. SGP, what's he going to just be a splash?
He's just going to shake it. That's all he's going to do. New tyres, shake it, and off he goes. But here's the thought for you, Ray. I'm pretty sure round here it doesn't use like.
Nelly hasn't getting to the end. I thought he was, but he's not. He's definitely not.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have another pit stop to do. So Steve F1's on his way out of the pits. Rich Blues goes past, does he? Nearly. SGP has jumped Artpal and Demon R. So Artpal, I think, has had to take it very, very easy on his outlaps, hasn't he? Because he's had to pit that lap earlier. And I think he's done the right thing there. If he'd have pushed hard, it'll kill him later. Whereas if he looks after them, lets the boost use them, he's now in a position where if he could just stay with these, he's got half a chance. SGP all over the back of Rich Blues, all over the grass behind Rich Blues as well. Oh, Rich has got his indicator on.
Yeah, and I heard through some team radio that SGP thought he was pulling over to let SGP pass. But why would he do that? He's in a bloody race, you muppet.
Absolutely. Now, interestingly here, Artpal has jumped Demon R as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting switch here. So, even though Steve F1 did have to put fuel in and SGP probably didn't, or Rich unlucky, or SGP only had to put a little bit in, it will have still closed the gap up between them. For Demon R, though, he's a long way back now, isn't he?
He's in 6th place, so he's like just coming into. No, he's just behind Rich, so he's just exiting. You can just see him. I thought we were on Artpal, so I was looking on the timing screen at 4.
Well, interesting.
Even though,
Rich can't do it. I was going to say interesting. Rich is going to be pitting, which means Demon R is probably not going to get the boost. Although saying that, it does look like we've had a DNF from the Rich hasn't pitted. Oh, Rich, you should have pitted there. But then I suppose it depends on how he's been getting on with his stints, because if his tyres have only been lasting 3 or 4 laps, he'd have to keep going. Okay, Demon R round the outside. There is the difference between fresh tyres and old ones. I mean, if they were both on fresh tyres, that's not a move that is happening. For Demon R, though, if he wants any chance of winning this race, he's going to have to get one hell of a shift on. Because he's a good 6 or 7 seconds, I think, behind SGP and Steve F1. But as we know, Ray, the more you push, the more you hurt your tyres.
Yep. He doesn't want to be slamming on the brakes. He doesn't want to be braking while turning, which he's doing. Because that's going to scrub the tyres more. But overtake on that pal there. Sorry, I was talking through it.
It's alright. It was a good example of, yeah, he doesn't want to do this, and this, and he's done exactly the opposite. But you're absolutely right.
Jason.
Oh, yeah. So Jason on fresher tyres as well. So Rich Blues is definitely a bit of a sitting Jamaican duck at the moment. He's going to run a bit wide. Jason will have the grip to go up the inside. Can't quite get up the inside of Artpal. So Artpal and Jason then, pitted at 2 very different stages of this race. It'll be interesting to see how they get on. Demon Nelly from the lead in at 2 at the pits, so he's going for a very short stint. Jason up the inside of Artpal into the final couple of corners. I actually think we've seen Artpal get overtaken a few times in this race, but as Rich goes into the Blues, but I do think it's a
Rich goes into the Blues.
He does. But yeah, I think for Artpal, it's a case of, I'm just going to drive and not hurt my tyres. If you want to overtake, go for it. I'm not going to defend you. I'm going to look after you. You want to kill your tyres, go for it. We'll see if it works out a little later on if we get to see what Artpal's tyres are like in comparison to Jason's. So on
do you think like ducks from our country taste different from Jamaican ducks?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I did hear once that if you eat a Jamaican duck, you get high. Now, something that is interesting, something that I heard someone say the other day is, do you think dogs bark in accents? So, like, if a dog from London went to Scotland, would it be like, what the fuck's that dog saying? It's like, oh, hello, I'm a dog here, hello. He's like, yeah, you here, what? I don't know what you're saying, but can I have some of your water? It's not walking water. So yeah. Or if they go to different countries, yeah, that's interesting thought. Okay, Artpal's tyres. Oh, sorry. Okay, it looked like that when I saw them. Artpal's front right was at about 50%. If it is, he's okay, but he may not be able to push. Nelly, fresh tyres on the back of Jimmy. Hopefully Nelly put enough fuel in. Something I was going to try saying earlier was, around here, it doesn't use 1.0 laps worth of fuel or 10% of fuel. per lap. It definitely depends on how you drive. So if you are using much lower gears, or for example here, Nelly is definitely extending some of these gears while he's got the boost, which is fine. But there are ways you'll drive which will burn more fuel, so you do have to be very, very careful. Because if you put in 6 laps worth of fuel, but you drive it very aggressively, you might actually burn more than 6 laps worth of fuel. Just like if you put in 6 laps worth of fuel, but you lift and coast and short shift, you might actually get 7 laps worth of fuel. So it is something the drivers are going to have to be aware of. Nelly, though, on a bit of a charge with the boost, closing in on the pack, which is Artpal and Jason. Steve F1, okay, so he's got less than 50% tyres left, but he's only got 2.5 laps to go. How are his tyres compared to SGP's? Will we see? And the fuel? Fuel's about the same. SGP's used more tyre though, hasn't he?
Yeah, Damon has got less, he's got more tyres saved. I do think there, how do you say that?
Well, it's interesting that he's got more tyre left than SGP, but I think he might be pushing harder. He's in the 140s now.
He's got the same tyre wear as Steve F1.
Yeah, so it's same as Steve, more than SGP. He's definitely pushing a little bit here. But if he needs to, if he... Oh, the door, wobbly. Yeah.
That could just be a costly moment, as we see in the pack cam. It was, I think, Nelly on the back of... Who's Nelly? Artpal. So, yeah. Artpal's going backwards, he's not.
Yeah, well, I think that's what happens when you do that extra, you try going that extra lap, you have to look after the tyres that little bit more, and it does just hurt. I mean, it does kind of beg the question, would he or Demon R have been better off sticking with that alternate strategy and having the extra pits and having a shorter stint? I mean, for example, a 5-lap stint at the end where you could push it a bit more might be more beneficial. I mean, it isn't working for Nelly at the moment, but I think Nelly pitted a lap too late, really. He gave himself a little bit too much to do. Because looking at this, unless Steve F1's in the 141s, unless he drops it somewhere, his tyres will last the rest of this lap and the next one. But SGP is definitely closing the gap in on him. But that could just be Steve F1 looking after those tyres a little bit and thinking, okay, you close the gap now because I want my tyres for the next lap, because that's the important one. So we look at SGP's tyres. Yeah, he's got a little bit less on that front right tyre. Demon R's still got that little bit more, but as you mentioned, I think that wobble in the final corner has cost him half a second, enough to hinder his progress. Jason, Artpal, and Nelly with those nearly fresh boots, but I think Nelly's fuel light's flashing, which normally says you've got less than a lap worth of fuel or 1.3 left. So Nelly may have to be careful here, or a little bit of contact on Artpal. He's backed out of it though. Well done.
I think Nelly wasn't expecting Artpal to come straight back to the apex there, because we've seen Artpal go wide at the middle of that double left-hander.
That's true.
And maybe that's caught Nelly out, and Artpal was like, oh, sorry.
Quite possibly. Interesting. Okay, Steve F1 and SGP's fuel tanks flashing. Demon R's isn't. Jason's is. Artpal's isn't. Jason. Okay, I think Jason's got less fuel than the leaders have. Okay, we don't know exactly how much fuel they've got, but usually it flashes when it's around 1 lap's worth of fuel left. But as I said, depends on how you drive, it'll use more than 1 lap. Artpal still trying to fend off Nelly. If Nelly times this right, he could get a good run here. Oh, excuse me, gotta be brave.
Wow, those tyres are just there, aren't they?
They are just hanging on. But this is where for Nelly, like, okay, this corner, okay, Artpal's got the apex, he's done well. It's very difficult to get the apex, so now Nelly needs to weigh up his options here. As we jump away to Steve F1 as he's heading up to the final 2 corners. He's got a slither of fuel left, he's got a slither of tyre left, he's got a slithering car in the Serpent series. He's round the final couple of corners, not troubling the apex by a mile because the grip isn't there, but he'll get the points. It's on the pack cam. Artpal and Jason still battling. Jimmy's on Nelly as well. Steve F1 takes the victory. and the maximum points. SGP crosses the line. Demon are closed in. But here we go, Jason. Oh, pal, Jimmy's done Nelly. So Jason,
did he go round the outside? Because I seen.
Sorry, Jason. I think Jason may have just run out of juice at the line. I think he may have got across the line in front of Arpal as well.
Yeah. He got in front.
And Rich Blues, he's not out of fuel. He's just running. Oh no, his TV's gone off. That's right. Yeah, that's what he was going around the last couple of corners. His TV's
I bet his
gone
wife does it
on purpose.
She goes, right, let's set it for 39.5 minutes.
Absolutely. Okay, Gary's going to be the last to cross the line. I think Gary had a bit of a tricky one. Gary pitted very, very early, by the way. I think he pitted at the end of lap 2. So perhaps went for a bit of a major undercut, but in the end it didn't really work. So around the final corner, he is going to go. Interesting race across the board there. Definitely.
I bet Rich's wife's got the plugs that are Bluetooth and she can switch it off.
Quite, yeah, probably. That's what I'd do. But yeah, okay, so a few interesting things for us to perhaps cover there. Firstly, I just want to say well done to all the drivers for getting on the track. We know it's not always easy to have the time to do so, but also there's a lot of build up to this race of how this championship is random weather, and we are racing 8 of the 9 tracks are tracks where it can rain. So a lot of the preparation up to this race has been getting the drivers ready for learning about the rain indicators, the surface water indicator, when is the right time to pit for inters or wets and when isn't, and so on. And then we have a completely dry race, which is typical. We could have a completely dry season, but there is always the risk of rain there. Secondly, I just want to say well done to Steve F1. He's done extremely well there, as has SGP. I also will say a quick apology to Nelly. During the race, I did not know if I had made contact with Nelly, which caused him to spin round at the first couple of corners. Having looked into it, I still don't know for certain. Others will say yeah.
Yeah, you're just saying that now that the race is over in the report.
You can't put a report in now.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it is one of those situations where really I probably should have waited.
I think it looked as if there was no contact, but I think because the Group 4 Viper has a rear diffuser, and the front end of the Viper get that extra lower winglet thing. I think it just collected, but it was the box round the cars. It didn't. It seems like it wasn't set right, and you've hit that collision box and it's not visibly shown.
I'll correct a little bit of the information there. The rear diffuser on the Viper is big, but the rear wing actually sticks out quite a bit more. So I have had a look into it, and I have you can't see any contact from front end to rear end, but if the collision box goes on the rear wing, then there is the potential that there was contact there. At the time, I didn't know for certain. I couldn't know. I didn't hear anything. I mean, in my defense as well, I'm pretty sure we were slowing down at a point where normally I would be accelerating, but that's by the by. In hindsight, what I should have done is waited for Nelly in case it was my fault, because I should
report him, Nelly.
Report it, Nelly. Send it to the page, and then we'll
Guess
reply
saying
too late.
I'm the number one steward this season, so send me $10.
Yeah.
Put it in your favour.
Yeah, but I mean, it is. To be fair, it was one of those situations where I didn't know.
Well, you couldn't tell at the time. You could never tell. No. You had to look into it.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like when we saw Gary get his braking wrong. I think Jimmy gets braking wrong down into the hairpin. Those ones, it's up. You know you've made an error, and you know, okay, yeah, it's black and white. I'll wait for him. No problem. But yeah, sometimes it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get on at the next race, which is at the not super speedway. Oh, what's it called?
Well, next track, sure.
Yeah. It's not a super speedway because super speedways are just a big fast ovals, but it's high speed ring. That's it. Yeah. So the next race is at high speed ring. I will just quickly say though, there is the possibility that we might be low on numbers for next week's race because we know that Twilight is away on holiday and Nelly is away on holiday. So I would please emphasise all the drivers.
Send it to the page.
Yes. Yes, I'll say so. Yes. But yeah, if you are or aren't able to join the race, let us know. Because if we do need to postpone it for a week, the earlier we can do that, the better. Because then, if people do want to do other things, that's absolutely fine. Okay. Last bit of information I just want to put out. Have you seen that Chernobyl documentary?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant. You've got to watch it, right? It is absolutely brilliant. There's some like famous actors in it, and it is. I don't think they've really dramatised much of it. I say much of it, but you never know. But a friend of mine has recently just seen it, and he actually grew up in the Ukraine in the 80s. And he said he was able to count at least 8 historical inaccuracies on one hand. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the punchline.
That was the punchline. He lived in the Ukraine during a nuclear meltdown, and now he can count 8 inaccuracies on one hand. He's got 8 fingers!
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh dear. I would say that definitely watch the mini series on it. It is absolutely brilliant and shocking at the same time. But yeah, so no punchline on that bit. Right, is there anything else that you want to add, Raymond? Actually, there is something we can add. Has there been any reports yet?
No, there has not been any reports. Nelly. You alright?
Yeah, I went to get a drink.
Alright, and you stopped. You could have said I'm going for a drink. Continue on, but
I know, but I thought it'd be funnier just to ask you that question and then walk off and get a drink. But I nearly got all the way back before you waited for me. But yeah, okay. So if there's no reports, then the result will be confirmed for the first race of the Serpent series. So Ray, thank you very much for joining us on commentary.
No, thank you for having me. And oh shit, I never dropped something. And it wasn't my balls. Yeah, and thank you to everybody behind doors that you don't get to see, like SJP, Steve F1, and also the drivers. Absolutely. For making the league the way it is. And yeah, they've got make sure you message the page drivers of your days available. Although the season's going ahead as is, we still want to get stuff in place for when the season finishes and know kind of what route we're going, and
absolutely.
And hopefully, Conrad's finding it difficult for a different day, but fuck him.
That's a bit. I mean, I have. To be fair, Connor has been messaging me recently. Now, I can just let everybody know what has been happening is the messages have been coming in, and Ray has been receiving them, and we're just accumulating the information without it really being shared between us. So Ray's just accumulating the data. So I did decide to go and have a read of Connor's message the other day, and it was a very nice message, and you've just gone fuck him. I don't know. Right, okay.
Nah, he will be. He will be missed.
Yeah, savage. Basically, okay, just so everyone, Connor said he doesn't think he's going to be able to do any other day because of doing football duties. He runs a couple of football teams, but he would rather DGT League moves to another day and continue rather than stay on a Thursday and it not continue. So he's basically willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good. And Ray's like, yeah, fuck him, he'll be missed.
He only does the football to get the single mums.
He's married. Maybe it's the single dads.
And oh yeah. It'd be Kylie Minogue pants.
Why do you think his name is Conrad? That I am only joking, Connor. Right?
Yeah, I'm only joking too, Connor.
We do love you. We are only joking, so please don't take it to heart. My achy, breaky heart. But there we go. Right, okay, I think we should move on to doing the race result and the standings, because I've drank too much and you're getting quite offensive.
Am I getting offensive?
You'd be great at doing gardening, you would.
Would I?
Yeah.
Popping up the fences.
Proper good offences. Oh, dear. Right, on that bad
guess
one.
What?
Oh, go on.
You know how I've got a few kids.
I thought he was going to say herpes, but go on.
Nah. So, like, ask Kirsty, we could use toys during sex.
Oh, God. Right, come on.
Last
Give me the
night.
punchline. Yeah, go on.
You should have seen her face when I rolled my Hot Wheels over her tits.
Did you go brum brum? Oh, dear.
Yeah.
See, now what you should do, what you should have done.
And then squirted and died.
What you should have done is got a Hot Wheels towing a boat, and then you could have gone, which is known as a motorboat, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Right, we have definitely lowered the tone, so have a good night, everybody. Let's check out this race result, come for race result, standings and all that lot, and we'll see you next time if we're not banned. See you in a bit.
No.
Okay, confirmation of the race result. There's Steve F1 in first, SGP second, Demon R third, Jason fourth, Art Powell fifth, Jimmy sixth, Nelly seventh, Rich Blues in eighth, Formula Gary in ninth, and Conrad with the DNF in 10th place. So we'll have a quick look at what that has done to the standings. It will be exactly what it is on the screen right now, with a couple of additions. So we've got Bob, who was unable to make the race, Twilight, Critical, and SRI. So they're all on 0. Everyone else scores the points from the race we've just had. Obviously the commentary got a little bit wild towards the end there. Blame the alcohol on a late Saturday night. But can't take away from the fact there was another very exciting race of the DGT League. You may have noticed as well there is a couple of spots showing as available on the driver standings there. Obviously, depending on what's happening with the DGT League going forward, depends on whether we attempt to fill those spots or not. So one of the things we won't want to do is rush in to try and fill those spots if things come to an end at the end of this championship, which is obviously not what we would ideally want for the league to end. But yeah, so for anyone that isn't aware, we did put out a bit of an announcement recently that unfortunately SRI is going to be unable to race on the Thursday nights for the next 3 years because his daughter has been accepted into a fire cadets program, which is brilliant. And with SRI being unable to race on the Thursday nights, SGP, who set up Dynamic GT League with SRI, is unsure if he wants to continue without SRI being in the races. So one of the things that we have done is asked all the drivers, or we're in the process of asking all the drivers to let us know if there is another night that we could perhaps race on, and keep Ray on the track with us. So obviously a little bit of uncertainty going forward, but as this season progresses, hopefully we'll be able to give more insight on that. One thing I can say though is SGP drove a car last night and literally straight away went, this is going to be a future league car. So clearly there's still some excitement in league racing for SGP. I guess it just has to be the right kind of car. and nothing to do with SRI. So there we go. Right, anyway, that's it for this week. As we mentioned towards the end of the commentary, we may be low on numbers this coming week if we have less than 9. If we know there's going to be less than 9 before Wednesday midnight, then the race will be postponed until the next week. But if we believe that we have more than 9, then we'll go ahead. And if it gets past Wednesday midnight and we haven't been informed that we're going to be less than 9, then the race will go ahead anyway. So once again, a little bit up in the air, but you just have to bear with us. Okay, thank you very much for watching, listening. You know what to do: like and subscribe. And if you do want to get involved, feel free to drop us a message and join us on the Monday practice sessions, so that we can get to know you and you can get to know us. Right, as someone goes down the street beeping their horn, have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you all again soon.